All right, y'all. It's actually it's getting pretty sickening. This is getting extremely sickening now at this point. Dude, we're on like a 5 or 6 trade losing streak. This is either my worst losing streak or it's up to par with that worst winning streak. Because, dude, what the fuck? I've genuinely never. I don't remember the last time I've had this many losses in a row. This is just utterly insane, bro. And it's all in the span of 2 weeks. But I've been having great risk management. I've been managing everything extremely well. So to go over the losses briefly, really quick, we have what's it called? It's not up here, but we basically last week took a banger ass trade on Wednesday. It was a very clean trade. Then Thursday, we have two losing trades. The first trade just edged break even, right? Second trade, we got confirmations to the downside. A simple continuation model, and we had relatively equal lows, which we then again edged. So back to back days, we've edged, the break even point, and then Friday was probably the most brutal day of all. We had, dude, this was such a good continuation model, and what's it called? We just hit stop loss. We wick stop loss out by just a couple of ticks or points, and then we just run straight to TP, which would have recovered both losses we'd taken from the previous day. So that was pretty sickening, and not only did it, did we not make profit on a winning trade, but we got stopped out. So that's 3 losses within the span of 2 days already. Monday, we had a break even of this week, and then Tuesday, we followed with another break even. Um, and then on the same day, Tuesday, we had a winning trade, but I didn't take it, I stayed out. And it was such a clean trade. It's just the 5 minute decided to inverse at the exact same, point level as the fucking fair value gap. So it's like I couldn't even tell if it got inverse or not. So I just stayed out. And what do you know? I got, it just banged, completely banged. Um, so I'm still off 3 losses in a row. Wednesday, Thursday had absolutely nothing. Did not even bother to look at the markets. For like after 30 minutes of just sitting on the chart. And Friday, we have a model here which I'm not too mad about me taking. Okay, I'm not too mad about me taking at all. Looking back at it, but that's 4 losses and then five. I guess we are on a 5 trade losing streak. I don't know if it's 5 or 6. I'm not even looking back at my chart. I'm just going off, pure memory of what I've taken. But I didn't crash out. It was like an educated gamble. Okay, it's an educated gamble. It's not like I did anything stupid either. I took a setup. It was just I don't know if it was a really good setup or not. I'm gonna review this and see, what it was. I was just like fuck, man. So there are definitely some mistakes I made here, which I'm gonna go over, and then I'll go over what I did right, and we'll see. We'll just see how today went. So, anyways, go ahead and get back into the recap. Let's bring this to 9 o'clock. And let's hide the drawing so we can actually see. Alrighty, so daily fair value, yeah. Let me see. This is what 940 around there. Go here. 940. Bit up here. Okay, that's something I was kind of looking at for the. I don't know if I was looking at this or not. This candle's already closed. I could have seen a respect off here if we were bullish, just because we were already, all the way up here. So that's something I was keeping in mind off that daily fair value gap. And we were also, and I think I did this daily fair value gap as well on ES. So that's something I was keeping in mind, of course. Now, in terms of the 4 hour, if we're looking based off what we have gone off of, or what we recently had, like the recent conditions, we took out liquidity here. We've had a pretty nice reaction out of this. SMT at this high with ES, because ES is at all-time highs, as you can see, with it followed with another great reaction. And the one thing I just don't like about today is just we don't really have any set targets on the higher time frame. Everything was just purely based off, a lower time frame, DOL. But yeah, in Q, it's like if you look at what we did, we started inversing gaps to the downside, huge candle here, but we also are left with a huge wick here on this 4 hour. 300-point wick. That's, pretty scary. We end up respecting this 4-hour right there. And yes, we're respecting this 4-hour, but we're also, we've just recently rejected out of this 4-hour up here. So just conflicting draws. You can see what I'm saying here. And then ES, of course, all-time highs. We end up, again, same thing as NQ, inversing these gaps to the downside. We don't respect this fair value gap, which NQ did, but on the other hand, we did tap into this new day opening gap here from Wednesday to the evening session, whatever you want to call that, the next trading day. So once again, we're bouncing out of two targets here. We have 4-hour up here and a new day opening gap down here. So it's two conditions we are bouncing out of. And the same exact thing on the 4-hour, okay? And now looking back at it, let me reset this because my mouse is not wanting to stretch it because, oh my gosh, this fucking stupid ass TradeVate, bro. Not TradeVate, TradingView. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. How they don't fix this shit. Like, I genuinely don't know. Like, what the fuck is wrong? Why is this issue even happening? Absolutely no reason it should be happening, but. So I can already see a huge mistake here. Well, let me finish going off of the 1 hour. But in Q, something that caught my attention was this little fair value up here. This is a huge support level. Apologies, I might sneeze here in a bit. Give me a minute. All right, man, what the heck? All right, back to it. We bounce out of this gap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh my gosh, that stupid ass 6, 7 shit. But yeah, we bounce out of this multiple times, and seeing this type of reaction out of this singular fair value gap, like, I don't trade supply and demand, but this guy has got me worried, definitely. So taking this into consideration, seeing how many times we bounced out of it, and then especially now this recent one that we bounced out of from the previous day, not going to be looking to target this at all. Okay, not only are we bouncing out of gaps from the upside, or conditions from the upside and then to the downside as well, but these levels are also protected because we have this level here that's backed by a huge heavy support level, which is also a fair value gap, and then this level here is backed by this 1 hour and 4 hour and possibly more fair value gaps on the other time frames. So this is a protected high, this is a protected low. We have nothing to aim for. Not only that, we're bouncing out of conditions. We've inversed every single gap to the downside. We inversed this gap and this gap. And then we also inverse this gap here. And we have two recent conditions that we could basically go off of for today. We have this fair value gap here that's been this is definitely a reaction out of it. Look at this wick. This is pretty crazy. And then we also have this gap to the upside here. So once again, bouncing from two conditions. Same thing here on ES. We inverse this gap. All the gaps here on this leg. We inverse these two fair value gaps, bearish fair value gaps, and then we also react out of this gap. But then we're also reacting out of this gap. So we're just bouncing from condition to conditions on opposing sides. There's no definite DOL on the higher time frame. Also bouncing out of this huge fair value gap here. Like, bro. So the first mistake I see with today's trade, okay, the very first mistake I can see with today's trade is, well, for one, we are bouncing out of conditions on buy side to sell side levels. So it's already, I can I can tolerate having what's it called? How do I say this? Conflicting, draws and conditions, whatnot. Like, I just use other confluences. But when it comes to this, like, dude, this is just fucking crazy. Like, not only are we bouncing out of a gap up here and down here, but we're also just not making sense here. We're inversing down here and then inversing back up, and then we're met with another set of conflicting conditions. Now I'm kind of repeating myself, and I know that, so I'm just gonna move on from this. But yes, this is pretty much the first mistake I've seen. There's no higher time frame, clear DOL, so I should have just hopped off here. I feel like the reason I didn't, though, was because of the lower time frame. So now that we've established that there's really nothing to go off of on the higher time frame, we can move down to this lower time frame. We can see, what the fuck has been happening. So first of all, look at this. This is crazy. I do not know how I even thought about trading this. Just looking at this right here, fucking crazy. Anyways, We are bouncing out of equilibrium here. Didn't quite hit OTE. That looks like we're bouncing out of a 5, 15, and 30 minute. Huge reaction there. And here we go fucking again. Gosh, this pissed me the fuck off, bro. It's not letting me stretch the thing with my mouse. This is fucking ridiculous. I have a new hack. Not a hack, but I think I found some way to bypass that. I'm gonna test it out next time it does this stupid shit again. Okay, here. So since we're not aiming for anything on the higher time frame, the lower time frame looks pretty attractive to me. Okay, we have lots of decent levels here. We have low resistance to the downside. Or let's go with buy side target. So we have an unmitigated 15 minute. It's really close to this high up here. We have low resistance right here, nice trend line. Then we have an even better trend line right here, a little bit closer. So we have good buy side targets, which align with the continuation model. And on the sell side, we also have great targets here. We have low resistance, and then we have a data low from, this is I think PPI, Red Folder News, Red Folder Core PPI, yep. So that is most definitely a data wick. We also have the same thing here on ES, so we don't have an SMT. ES, we have pretty much the same levels. We have equal highs up here, equal highs here, which have just been taken. But we have low resistance, really, really nice trend line, and then a data wick low. And yeah, so those are the levels that I have established. So honestly, the one thing I was looking for is if we continue to run up and get a 5 minute continuation up here, I can debate on taking it, just seeing how good it looks. I don't want to trade against trend line, so that's one thing. Don't want to trade against this here. So wasn't really in my mind for looking for longs unless we took out all the slow resistance, got a reaction out of here, or we took this data low, got a reaction out of there. I would look to take longs. And then shorts, this was honestly, I really wasn't looking to take shorts at all. I was expecting all this to get ran, but market open actually just runs up. Huge, huge candle here to the upside. And, excuse me. So basically, let's see it's doing it again. It's doing it again. Let's see. And it doesn't let me, bro. I'm so fucking done. This is the third time in one fucking video that I have to do this stupid ass shit. Alright, so what we bounced out of is, well, let me actually put a little green ray right here so we can tell, because another issue Trade of 8 has is not being able to keep the fuck up with the replay mode. But yeah, so we tap up, we hit this level up here, we take out all this low resistance, by the way. We tap into this unmitigated 15 minute right there, and I think there's also a 5 minute, very tiny 5 minute right there. This is also a set of equal lows right there we took out, and so 5, 15, and a 30 minute right up here. And then this hourly, something I definitely should have paid attention to. Well, I don't know why I said that. I think I did. So we of course showed rejection out of this hourly up here. We also just recently taken this level not too long ago, so everything's looking solid for me. We don't really have anything unmitigated. Like, this is not an unmitigated gap. It's just Asia session. If we look back on the 15 minute, it's not like it's an obvious high. It's just some bullshit. All right, this is all just bullshit up here. So, and another thing, we are inside of OTE, so this just makes a lot of sense. We also have, I think, an SMT at Asia high, which is not really an SMT. It's not really even a high. I don't know what to say about it, but technically we still do have that SMT. And yeah, let's see what ES bounces out of. Bounces out of what, this 15 minute, I guess? I don't know. Can't say too much for ES, okay? Kind of looks chopped. Maybe I should have paid more attention to that. But anyways, we got a 30-second IFUG to the downside here. And I actually did not take this, okay? Because it just seemed super, super skeptical. Obviously coming into the day, I already knew conditions were going to be ass. If I feel like I would have been much more confident if we didn't take this level out here. If we just continue to build this low resistance, I would have been much more confident. But I don't know. Something about this didn't seem right. It was also just a huge fair value gap. We also had an imbalance up here to retrace to. So what I actually did, I waited for retracement. We pulled back up to this 30-second fair value gap that we just made, or 1530 or 15, one of those, and then we got a nice reaction out, huge wick, and that's actually when I entered down here off a reaction of this 30-second. looking to go break even at the swing low here, targeting data low for around a 1.4, and then this is a little bit under a 1-to-1, so yeah, a little bit under a 1-to-1. Did I feel like this could hit? Honestly, I don't really see why it didn't. You know, ES had a huge set of, you know, low resistance here. We already took out everything up here. I don't see a reason for us really not to come down. And not only that, I don't see a reason for us to go up. Like, the only reason I can see for us to go up is take this out, and we'll be completely fucking wrong, which I would have been fine with, but we didn't even do that, all right? Just bullshit happened, right? We just come down. Okay, we didn't necessarily edge the break even. Kind of did, but we just run up, get stopped out, and then we just chop, bro. I'm not even looking for long. At this point in time, I could look for a continuation off this 30-second here, which we did get. Didn't take that because I'm just not looking for long. I was like, what would I target? Asia high? It's not even a fucking high. We're already in OTE. We're in premium. There's just really nothing to look forward to. And then if we just skip through the rest of this kill zone, basically we just end up hitting Asia high. We just chop forever, and then that's whenever we decide to deliver it to the downside. But nope, here we go again. Dump, and then we run all the way back up, and then we want to run all the way back down again. And then get this. This is fucking ridiculous. Okay, this is ridiculous. Look at this, data low. Look how fucking close we come to data low. 1 point away from taking this out. ES, you know, it's not like we edged it like super hard or anything. We're still like a couple points away from it. And but ADQ, man, what the fuck is this shit, dude? And we bounce back up for some weird apparent reason. Continue to go up, and then we decide to come down and take data low out. Today was just a bunch of bullshit, and then we end up even hitting this London low, which I wasn't even looking to target. I wasn't, as I said, there's no good higher time frame target to look for. Everything's just, you know, conflicting one another. So I'm simply looking for just some simple lower time frame target to aim for. Okay, and I wasn't even looking to trade it. I wasn't even antsy to trade. I just, you know, I saw the model and I couldn't just not take it. I literally saw it with, not only that, we had extra confirmation with that 30-second fair value gap retrace. We end up bouncing back in this 1 hour. Okay, why am I doing this on the 1 minute chart? Am I retarded? So we bounce out twice out of this fair value gap. So it looks like we might hold this, and then, I don't know, dude. It was just so much bull crap. Honestly, sickening. Now let's get into the other trade that I took, which this is another mistake I took. So this was basically just me, you know, not being happy with the outcome and looking to make back the money, which, like, it wasn't too bad of a decision, because I will say it was an educated gamble. Whoops, an educated gamble. Not really a gamble, because I still took a setup. I didn't just, you know, enter off nothing, but yeah, this, I could have just definitely not taken this. I wasn't even looking. I didn't know analysis on here. A simple pattern trade is what I took, right? So essentially, bring this back to the entry model. So we're in a 5 minute here. I was looking for a continuation up to these relatively equal highs that we had. This looks like a really good DOL. And at this point in time, NQ and ES looked like it was just going to keep running up. Stop loss had already gotten hit, of course. So I was looking out for that. On the hourly, let's check the hourly, see what we're bouncing out. We're bouncing out of this gap. Took liquidity here, inverse this gap. We are also bouncing out of this gap. Looks like we also inverse this gap. So, I mean, bullish doesn't even seem bad here. Like, looking for buys here. It's just not anything A+. Like, it wasn't like we had a, you know, a sweep of this low and then got a reaction out of there. It wasn't like anything like that, but everything seems to line up, okay? The 4 hour, let's see what we got here. We don't got shit, but we do look like we're inversing this gap down here. 15 minute. We were bouncing out of a fair value gap on the hourly also. I don't know if I said that. 15 minute, we have London low getting, you know, made here, and we just huge reversal to the upside. Let's see if we hit EQ of this range. If we didn't, that can probably be a reason why. So we did hit EQ. Bounce back, respect this fair value gap. Reaction to the upside. We end up inversing this 15 minute up here. So yeah, a continuation up to this. This just seemed like a very obvious DOL to me. You know, relatively equal highs, damn near equal highs. Yeah, this 5 minute here, and then we also have this 15 minute, which I really wanted to see get hit. That would have been super A plus. Yeah. But one thing I should have taken into consideration was this huge wick right here. All right, look at this. This is a pretty big wick, but you know it was necessary because we needed the retracement. And honestly, this is not too bad of a setup. All right, it's not too bad of a setup, I will say. I wasn't gonna take anything on the 30-second, but then we had a really good manipulation like here, and this is just a clean V shape. We have a huge down close candle here, little rejection candle here, and making time for this 1 minute imbalance to get made. We inverse this pretty nicely and obvious. There's a really obvious inverse to the upside. If we look at the 5 minute, we also on this candle ended up respecting this 5 minute, and this at the time it looked like we were gonna respect it as well. Apparently fucking not. But the 15 minute we did tap into that 15 minute, basically completely filling it almost. Break even should have been at these highs up here. This could have been a nice break even, or this high right there. We'll see if this gets hit. But yeah, I was just looking to make back this loss. Stops were down here. Okay. I just remembered, I did not take it off the IFEG. There was a 30-second I wanted to see get inverse before I took it, so I waited for a retracement. I don't know if we respected the 30-second or not. I really don't remember, but we made equal lows, and then we had a nice 15-second IFEG and a 30-second, I believe, too, up here, which is what I took. So it was more of a trade up here. Wow, no way, we just edged this break-even point. So even if I was looking to go break-even, which I wasn't, wanted to just see if we just win or lose, we would have got edged anyway and got stopped out. But this is low-key not a bad trade. Let's see what NQ was up to. NQ and ES were just up to bullshit. So looking off that, we could have just assumed that YM would have done the same since they're, of course, correlating pairs. But I was at least looking, at bare minimum this high to get hit. Okay, and then like trail profits, but bro, this is sickening. What the fuck? How did this not hit? And we get a reaction to the upside. Okay, so we do hit that level later on, but not if we get stopped out, of course. And the trade just completely fails, which is reasonable. Looking at NQ, seeing how bad that shit was, we should have just stayed out. Also, not too experienced with YM, so that's another mistake. I think this video is long enough, so we can probably end it here. But I'm gonna just briefly go over all the fucking mistakes that I went through today. So we'll start with the bad first. So mistake number 1, looking at the higher time frame, there's no higher time frame draw. There's no higher time frame direction at that. Okay, so not only is there no draw or target to look forward to, there's just no direction. We're bouncing up and down from bearish confluences to bullish confluences. So that's already bad. Just we should not trade conflicting draws like that. But I will say having these targets here, gave me an open mind to trade. So it's not, it's not an end all be all with that mistake. Now number 2, another mistake is I really can't tell if I should have taken this trade or not. Like there was a 30-second IFEG. I got the extra confirmation with the fair value gap respect. We had a break even point here. I'm not entirely mad at this. The structure does kind of look off-putting. If we didn't have this data, though, I definitely would not take this trade. So I will say that. Another thing about this trade, too, is we didn't really have any key levels getting tapped into. Like, there was really no key levels at all. It wasn't like we had a super nice Asia sweep with a 4-hour behind it or something like that. It just wasn't that great. So that's that. But I feel like I'm not mad at myself. I'm definitely not mad at myself for taking this trade. But after we lost this, I could have just called it a day. Did not have to gamble this, all right, on this trade. But it was not a bad setup. But then again, I never trade this, so I could have just easily just called it off. Took my loss, even though the account was heavy in drawdown because I've been taking nothing but fucking losses. I could have just, I'm going to have to, win trades either way to pass another account. So why the fuck did I not just focus on getting this drawdown back? That was a pretty stupid decision on my part. And honestly, if I had more of a clear mind, I would not have taken this. But coming off of a loss like this, and then on top of that being on a massive losing streak, my psych kind of did get to me. So that's, of course, another mistake. Is just I need to keep myself under control. All right. But I actually did keep myself under control these past 2 weeks, despite this huge losing streak. Mind you, all of this happened on just one account, out of all of my accounts that I have, I did not trade not a single trade was taken on any of my other accounts. I strictly took this on one account, and this account I just passed. This was an account I just, acquired last week. Last week I just got this account. I think on Wednesday. And then after that, it was just nothing but fucking L's. So that's completely devastating. Honestly, just really what's it called? This is just pretty discouraging. As you can see, once again here, we hit a reject off or edge another level, which just another sign of just choppiness. Dude, today was just not good. Not a good day to trade. Not mad at this loss once again, and then we already went over those mistakes, so that's going to be it. Hopefully, coming into this new month, right, this was the last trading day of January. Hopefully, February has something good in store. I'm really expecting that, but I don't want to come in there, just taking everything because I'm expecting, everything to win. But, I mean, come on, man, we're coming off of a lot of heavy losses here, so we should get something good, right? We got to balance everything out, but we'll see. Anyway, that's gonna be it. Maybe not every trade was the best. I will say one of the trades I took last week wasn't that great, strictly because I'm trying to think how many bad trades. So this trade was all right. Not mad at myself for it. Once again, I've said that a million times. The trade over here, I'm not going to go to it, but the next trade I took on YM, that was a pretty bad trade. Did not have to take that. And then last week there was another trade I took on Thursday, the second trade, that short I took, which was not good. I could have definitely avoided that. It was more of a discretional play, so we should just honestly be coming off of 2 to 3 losses this week, or these past 2 weeks. But of course, we took some bad setups, but I was very calculated with those setups. Like I said, I only took those on one account. Didn't take those on everything else. So I was being extremely cautious about that. But yeah, I'm not even mad about this week. I'm just glad this was all on one account. Dude, that would have been bad if we took this on everything else. But anyways, just gonna wrap it up for this video. I've been kind of yapping a lot and repeating myself. So probably do this week recap either tonight or tomorrow. But yeah, I need to take data on this and review to see if this is a good setup. But anyways, it's gonna be it, and peace. Yeah, that's it. Wait. I think there's one more thing I wanted to go over about today. Let me make sure before I end this video, because I am gonna look back on these videos and I don't want to leave any unanswered questions. What it was something about Okay, I think that's it. Hopefully my future self remembers what it was, and I don't have to, be confused after watching this. But yeah, it's going to be it for this video, and peace.